Emma had everything: a mansion, private school, designer clothes. Everyone envied her. Then one day, she woke up, and it was all gone. Her father, her money, her life. But what she discovered in that loss changed her forever. This is a mystery story created for English listening and shadowing practice. I will speak slowly and clearly. You can pause the video and repeat at your own pace. This is not just a story about losing wealth. It is a story about discovering what truly makes someone rich. If you enjoy learning English with powerful stories like this, subscribe to the channel. This helps me create more stories to help you improve your English naturally. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1: The Princess. My name is Emma Carter. I'm 12 years old. And until last week, I had everything. I lived in a mansion, 8 bedrooms, indoor pool, home theater. My closet was bigger than most people's bedrooms, filled with designer clothes, shoes I wore once, bags worth thousands of dollars. I went to Riverside Academy, the most expensive private school in the city, where everyone's parents were rich. CEOs, lawyers, doctors, celebrities. I had everything a kid could want: the latest phone, my own laptop, a credit card with no limit. My father gave me everything. His name was David Carter, tech entrepreneur, millionaire, maybe billionaire. I wasn't sure. But he was rich, very rich, and he loved me. "Emma," he would say, "you're my princess. You deserve the best, and I'll always give you the best." He traveled a lot, business trips to Asia, Europe, South America, sometimes gone for weeks. But when he came home, he brought gifts: jewelry from Paris, electronics from Tokyo, clothes from Milan. I never wanted for anything. Never. At school, everyone wanted to be my friend, not because they liked me, because of what I had, what I could give them. Invitations to my birthday parties at fancy hotels, trips on my father's private jet, access to exclusive events. I knew they were fake friends, but I didn't care. I had everything else. Why did I need real friends? There was only one person at school who didn't care about my money. Her name was Grace. She was a scholarship student, poor family, worn clothes, old backpack. But she was smart, top of our class, always reading, always learning. Everyone else ignored her, or worse, bullied her. "Look at Grace's shoes," they'd whisper. "They're from a thrift store. Her phone is so old. I can't believe she's even at this school." I never joined in, but I never stopped it either. One day, Grace sat next to me at lunch. "Do you mind?" she asked. "I guess not," I said. We ate in silence. Then she said something. "You seem lonely?" I laughed. "I'm not lonely. I have everything. Everything except real friends," Grace said. "What would you know about it?" I asked coldly. "I know that having things isn't the same as being happy," Grace said. "And you look sad. Despite everything you have." I wanted to be angry, to tell her to leave, but she was right. I was lonely, surrounded by people but completely alone. "Why are you talking to me?" I asked. "Because you need a friend," Grace said simply. And I think you might be a good person. Under all that designer clothing, nobody had ever said that to me, called me a good person. Most people called me spoiled, rich, lucky, but never good. How do you know I'm a good person? I asked. I don't, Grace admitted, but I'd like to find out. That was 3 months ago. Grace and I became friends. Real friends. She didn't care about my money, didn't ask for anything, just wanted to spend time with me, talk about books, about dreams, about life. It was nice, having one real friend among all the fake ones. Then everything changed. Last Monday, I was at school, in math class. My phone rang, which was strange. Nobody called during school. I looked at the screen. Unknown number. Miss Carter, my teacher said. No phones in class. I know, I said, but I should take this. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. I answered. Hello? Is this Emma Carter? A woman's voice asked. Yes. This is Detective Sarah Morrison. I'm calling about your father. My heart stopped. What about him? Can you come to the police station? Your aunt will pick you up. I don't have an aunt, I said. Your father's emergency contact, the detective said. Margaret Chen. She's on her way. What's happening? I asked desperately. Please tell me. It's better if we talk in person, the detective said, and she hung up. I sat there, frozen, scared. Grace noticed. Emma, what's wrong? I don't know, I whispered. But something happened to my father. What Emma was about to discover would destroy her entire world, but it would also reveal who she truly was. Chapter 2. The Truth. Mrs. Chen picked me up from school. I barely knew her. She was my father's accountant, or business partner, or something. I'd met her twice, maybe 3 times. Emma, she said gently, get in the car. Where's my father? I asked. At the police station, she said. Why? Mrs. Chen looked sad. They arrested him. The world spun. Arrested? For what? Fraud, Mrs. Chen said quietly. Embezzlement. Money laundering. Your father's company was a scheme. A pyramid scheme. He stole millions from investors. No, I said. That's not true. My father is a good man. He's a businessman. I'm sorry, Emma, Mrs. Chen said. But it's true. The FBI has been investigating for months. They have evidence, documents, bank records, everything. I felt sick. What does this mean? It means your father is going to prison, Mrs. Chen said, for a long time. And everything he owned will be seized. The house, the cars, the bank accounts, everything. I'll have nothing, I whispered. I'm afraid so, Mrs. Chen said. But where will I live? With me, Mrs. Chen said. I'm your legal guardian now. Your father arranged it. Before his arrest, I started crying. Not about the money, not about the house, about my father. He lied to me. My whole life was a lie. The mansion, the gifts, the lifestyle, all stolen, all fake. At the police station, they let me see him through glass, using phones to talk, like in movies. My father looked different, older, tired, ashamed. "Emma," he said, "I'm so sorry." "How could you?" I asked. "How could you lie to me?" "I wanted to give you everything," he said. "I grew up poor. I never had anything. I wanted you to have a different life. So I made mistakes, bad choices, and now you're paying for it." "You stole from people," I said. "People trusted you, and you stole their money." "I know," he said, tears in his eyes. "I know, and I'll regret it forever. Not because I got caught, but because I hurt you. I ruined your life. You should have thought of that before," I said coldly. "Emma, please." "I have to go," I said, and I hung up, walked away. I never saw my father again. He went to prison the next week. 20 years. He won't get out until I'm 32. By then, I'll be a different person, living a different life. Mrs. Chen took me to her apartment. It was small, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, maybe 800 square feet, smaller than my old closet. "This is your room," she said, opening a door. It was tiny, a twin bed, a small desk, a narrow closet. That's it. "I know it's not what you're used to," Mrs. Chen said, "but it's clean and safe." "Thank you," I managed to say, even though I wanted to cry. That night, I lay in that small bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything I lost, my home, my clothes, my life, my father. Who was I now? Without all those things, without the mansion and the money. Just Emma, plain Emma, with nothing. The next day, Mrs. Chen took me to my new school, public school, Lincoln Middle School. No uniforms, no fancy buildings, just a regular school, with regular kids who had regular lives. I felt sick walking in. Everyone would know. They'd seen the news. Tech millionaire arrested for fraud. Pyramid scheme steals millions. My father's face was everywhere, and everyone knew I was his daughter. In first period, kids whispered, stared, pointed. "That's her. The girl whose dad is a criminal." She probably knew. She's probably a thief, too. I kept my head down, tried to be invisible. At lunch, I sat alone. Nobody wanted to sit with the fraud's daughter. Then someone sat down across from me. "Grace." "What are you doing here?" I asked, shocked. "I transferred," Grace said, "back to public school. I only went to Riverside on scholarship, but I decided I'd rather be here, with you." "You transferred schools for me?" I asked. "You're my friend," Grace said simply. "Friends stick together, even when things get hard. Especially when things get hard." I started crying. Right there in the cafeteria. Grace held my hand. "You're going to be okay," she said. "I don't know how," I said. "I don't know how to be poor. I don't know how to be normal. I don't know who I am without all that stuff." "Then you'll figure it out," Grace said, "and I'll help you." But discovering who she really was would be harder than Emma ever imagined, and the journey would teach her something she never learned in her mansion. Chapter 3: The Transformation. The first month was terrible. I had 3 outfits, that's it. 3 outfits that Mrs. Chen bought from a thrift store. I wore them on rotation. Everyone noticed. "She's wearing the same jeans again. Doesn't she have other clothes? I guess when your dad's a criminal, you can't afford new clothes." The whispers hurt. But what hurt more was losing my identity. I used to be Emma Carter, the rich girl, the princess. Now I was just Emma. Nobody. Nothing. At my old school, people wanted my attention. Here, people avoided me, except Grace. She stayed by my side every day. She showed me how to pack lunch, how to take the bus, how to live on a budget, things I never needed to know, but now had to learn. One day, a girl named Maria approached me. She was in my English class. "I'm sorry about your situation," she said. "Thanks," I muttered. But I wanted to say something. "What?" "You seem different now," Maria said. "More real. Before, when you were at Riverside, you seemed fake, like a doll. Perfect hair, perfect clothes, perfect life. But empty. Now you seem like a person. Someone I could actually talk to." I didn't know how to respond. "Is that a compliment?" I asked. "Yes," Maria said with a smile. "It is." She walked away, and I thought about her words. More real, less empty. Maybe losing everything wasn't just loss. Maybe it was also discovery. Mrs. Chen worked long hours. She wasn't rich, just comfortable. She gave me a home, but she couldn't give me much else, so I needed to help. "I should get a job," I told her one day. "You're 12, Mrs. Chen said. "Too young." "I can babysit," I said, "or walk dogs, or something. I want to contribute. I don't want to be a burden." Mrs. Chen looked at me with surprise. "You're not a burden, Emma. You're a child. A child who's been through trauma. Let me help you. That's what family does." "You're not my family," I said. Not meanly, just stating fact. "Maybe not by blood," Mrs. Chen said, "but family is more than blood. It's the people who choose to stay, even when things are hard. And I'm choosing to stay." That night, I cried, but they were different tears. Not tears of loss, tears of gratitude. For the first time, I understood something. Real wealth isn't money, it's people. People who care about you. Not what you have, but who you are. In English class, we read a book, A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, about a rich girl who loses everything, but maintains her dignity, her imagination, her kindness. The story felt familiar, too familiar. "Emma," my teacher said, "what do you think Sarah learned from her experience?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "She learned that being a princess isn't about money," I said. "It's about character, about treating people with kindness, about staying good even when life is hard. Anyone can be a princess with money, but being a princess without money, that takes real strength." The class was quiet, everyone staring at me. I realized I was talking about myself, about my own experience. After class, my teacher pulled me aside. "That was profound, Emma." "Thank you." "I meant it," I said. "I know you did," she said. "And I think you're discovering something important." "What?" "Who you really are," she said, "without all the distractions. Money, possessions, status, those things hide us, make us think we're someone we're not. But when they're gone, we find our true selves. And Emma, I think your true self is beautiful." Those words stayed with me. One Saturday, Grace invited me to volunteer at a homeless shelter. "I volunteer every weekend," she said. "Want to come?" I hesitated. I'd never done anything like that. Never had to, but I agreed. The shelter was in the poorest part of town. People lined up for meals. Families, children, elderly people, all struggling, all hungry. We served food, talked to people, listened to their stories. One woman told me about losing her job, then her apartment, then everything. "It happened so fast," she said. "One day I had a life. The next day, I had nothing. But I'm still here, still trying, still hoping." I understood her, more than she knew. At the end of the day, Grace asked me what I thought. It was hard, I admitted. Seeing people suffer, but also inspiring. "How?" "They haven't given up," I said. "They've lost everything, but they're still trying, still hoping. If they can do that, so can I." Grace smiled. "Now you're getting it." Over the next few months, I changed, really changed. Not my circumstances. Those stayed hard. But my perspective. I stopped caring about designer clothes. Started appreciating having any clothes. I stopped wanting the newest phone. Started being grateful I had a phone at all. I stopped missing my mansion. Started appreciating Mrs. Chen's small apartment. It was warm, safe, full of love. That was more than enough. At school, I made real friends. Not people who wanted something from me, but people who liked me. Maria became my friend. So did Carlos, who sat next to me in math, and Lily, who shared her lunch when I forgot mine. They didn't care that I used to be rich. They didn't care that my father was in prison. They just cared about me. The real me. One day, the principal called me to her office. Emma, she said, I wanted to talk to you about something. Am I in trouble? I asked nervously. No, she said with a smile. The opposite. Your English teacher nominated you for an essay contest about overcoming adversity. She thinks you have a powerful story. Would you be willing to write it? I thought about it. My story was painful, embarrassing, public, but maybe it could help someone. Someone else who lost everything. Someone who felt worthless without their stuff. I'll do it, I said. I spent weeks writing, revising, pouring my heart onto the page. I wrote about losing my father, my home, my identity, but finding something more valuable, myself. Real friends, purpose, gratitude. I submitted the essay and forgot about it until 2 months later. When the principal called me back to her office, Emma, she said, tears in her eyes. You won. Won what? The essay contest, she said, out of 10,000 entries. You won. I couldn't believe it. What do I win? A college scholarship, she said, full ride, to any university in the state. You earned it, Emma, with your words, your truth, your strength. I started crying, happy tears this time, not because of the scholarship, though that was amazing, but because someone valued my story, my experience, my words, not my money, not my possessions, but me, just me. That night, I called my father, first time in 6 months. Emma, he said, shocked. Hi, Dad. I can't believe you called. I thought you hated me. I did, I admitted, for a while. But I learned something. What? That the best thing you ever gave me wasn't money, I said. It was this experience. Losing everything. It taught me who I really am. And Dad, I like who I am. More than I liked the princess. My father cried. I'm so sorry for what I did. I know, I said. But something good came from it. I found myself. And that's worth more than any mansion. But Emma's story wasn't over. She still had one more lesson to learn. Chapter 4. The Princess Inside. 1 year after my father's arrest. Life was different, but good, really good. I lived with Mrs. Chen, worked hard at school, volunteered every weekend, had real friends, had purpose. Then something unexpected happened. Mrs. Chen got sick, very sick. Cancer. She needed treatment, expensive treatment. She didn't have much money saved, and insurance didn't cover everything. Don't worry, she told me. We'll figure it out. But I could see the fear in her eyes, the worry, the stress. I couldn't just sit and do nothing. She had saved me. Now I needed to save her. I started a GoFundMe. Help Mrs. Chen Fight Cancer told our story, how she took me in, gave me a home, became my family. I shared it everywhere. Social media, school, the shelter where I volunteered. At first, nothing happened. A few small donations, $5 here, $10 there, enough for maybe one treatment. Then something changed. My essay from the contest had been published online. Thousands of people read it, and one of them saw my GoFundMe, shared it. Then someone else shared it, and someone else. It went viral. Girl who lost everything trying to save woman who saved her. News stations covered it. Newspapers wrote articles, and donations poured in. Thousands of dollars, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Way more than we needed for treatment. I was shocked, overwhelmed, grateful. Why are people doing this? I asked Grace. Because your story touched them, Grace said. You showed them what real wealth looks like. Not money, but love, gratitude, character. That's what people want to support. Mrs. Chen got her treatment, the best doctors, the best care, and after months of fighting, she beat the cancer. She was going to be okay. With the extra money, we started a foundation, the Second Chances Foundation, helping kids who lost everything, kids with parents in prison, kids in foster care, kids who felt worthless, lost, alone. We gave them hope, opportunities, support, and I ran it. At age 13, with help from Mrs. Chen and Grace, we helped dozens of kids, then hundreds. People who once had nothing, who felt invisible. We saw them, helped them, showed them they mattered. One day, a journalist interviewed me. Emma, she said. You went from millionaire's daughter to having nothing? Do you regret it? Do you wish you still had your old life? I thought about it, really thought about it. No, I said honestly. Really? The journalist asked, surprised. Really, I said. My old life was empty. I had everything, but I was nothing. Just a rich kid. Spoiled. Entitled. Lonely. Now I have nothing. Well, not nothing. I have Mrs. Chen. I have Grace. I have real friends. I have purpose. I have myself. That's everything. The interview went viral too. Millions of views. Thousands of comments. This girl gets it. She understands real wealth. Everyone should learn from her. 6 months later, something incredible happened. My father's case was reviewed. New evidence showed he wasn't the mastermind. He was a victim too. Manipulated by his business partner. His sentence was reduced from 20 years to 5. And with good behavior, he'd be out in 3. When I heard the news, I cried. I would get my father back. Not the millionaire, not the man who bought me everything, but my dad. The real him, humbled, changed, better. I visited him in prison. Emma, he said, I heard about everything you've done. The foundation, helping kids, helping Mrs. Chen. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, Dad. You became the person I should have been, he said. Generous. Kind. Thinking about others. I spent my whole life thinking about money, about status, about looking successful. But you're showing me what success really looks like. And it's not money, it's character. I learned from the best teacher, I said. Who? Loss, I said. Loss taught me everything. What I needed, what I didn't. Who I was, who I wanted to be. I'm sorry I put you through that, my father said. Don't be, I said. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. 3 years later, I'm 16 now. My father got out of prison. He works at our foundation, helping other kids, other families, using his business skills for good. Mrs. Chen is healthy, still my guardian, still my family. Grace is my best friend, planning to go to the same college. And me, I'm just Emma, no mansion, no designer clothes, no luxury life, just a regular girl with an extraordinary story. People call me the princess who lost everything. But I tell them I'm not a princess. I'm just me. And that's enough. More than enough. The real crown. On my 18th birthday, I gave a TED Talk. What makes someone rich? Millions of people watched. People think wealth is about money, I said. About possessions. About status. I used to think that too. I had millions, a mansion, everything money could buy. But I was poor. Poor in spirit. Poor in character. Poor in... Purpose comes from helping others. From making a difference. From being useful. I learned that real wealth isn't what you have. It's who you are. Your character. Your kindness. Yeah. Myself. My true self. So to anyone struggling today, anyone who lost something, their job, their home, their status, remember this. Loss is not the end. It's the beginning. The beginning of discovering who you really are. What you're really worth. And trust me, you're worth more than you think. The audience stood, clapped. Some cried. After the talk, a little girl approached me, maybe 8 years old. Are you the princess? She asked. I'm not a princess, I said with a smile. Yes, you are, the girl said. My mom told me. She said a real princess isn't someone with a crown. It's someone with a kind heart. And you have the kindest heart. I knelt down, looked at her. Then you're a princess too, I said. Because I can see your kind heart. The girl smiled, hugged me, and walked away. That night, I thought about her words. A real princess isn't someone with a crown. It's someone with a kind heart. Maybe she was right. Maybe I am a princess. Not because of what I had, but because of what I became. And that's a title no one can ever take away. My friends, Emma's story teaches us something vital. Something our world desperately needs to understand. We live in a society obsessed with wealth, with possessions, with status. We measure success by what we own, how much we have, what we can buy. But Emma learned the truth. Those things don't make you rich. They make you distracted. Real wealth is internal. It's character, it's kindness, it's purpose, it's relationships. When Emma had millions, she was empty, lonely, lost, surrounded by fake friends, living a fake life. She didn't know who she was because her identity was tied to her possessions. When those were gone, so was she. But that loss was a gift. It forced her to discover her real self, her true value, her actual worth. And what she found was beautiful. She was generous. She was brave. She was kind. She was strong. These qualities were always there, but hidden under layers of privilege, layers of stuff, layers of entitlement. Loss stripped those layers away and revealed the real Emma. The lesson here applies to all of us, not just people who lose wealth, but anyone who ties their identity to external things. Your job, your appearance, your achievements, your status. These things can be taken away. And if your worth is tied to them, you'll be destroyed when they're gone. But if your worth comes from within, from who you are, not what you have, then nothing can destroy you. You'll be unshakable. Emma also learned about gratitude. When you have everything, you appreciate nothing. It's just expected, just normal. But when you have nothing, everything becomes precious. A meal, a bed, a friend. These simple things become treasures. That's why people who've lost everything often seem happier than people who have everything. They've learned to be grateful, and gratitude is the key to happiness. Emma learned about real relationships. Fake friends disappear when money disappears. Real friends stay. They don't care what you have. They care who you are. That's the difference. And it's worth losing everything to discover who your real friends are. Finally, Emma learned about purpose. Money can't give you purpose. It can give you comfort, convenience, entertainment, but not purpose. Purpose comes from helping others, from making a difference, from using your life to improve others' lives. That's what made Emma truly wealthy. Not her millions, but her foundation, her impact, her legacy of kindness. So if you're struggling today, if you lost something, your job, your relationship, your health, your status, remember Emma's story. Remember that loss is not the end. It's an opportunity to discover your real self, your real worth, your real wealth. And trust me, you're richer than you think. Thank you so much for listening to The Girl Who Lost Everything. What an incredible journey we shared. Emma's story shows us that true wealth has nothing to do with money. It's about character, kindness, and purpose. What did you think of this story? Did it change how you see wealth? Did it make you think about what really matters? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your reflections. And if this story touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. It helps me create more meaningful stories like this. Stories that teach important lessons. Stories that help you practice English. Stories that inspire you to see life differently. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Remember, you can listen to this story as many times as you want. You can pause and repeat. You can practice shadowing. Take your time with your English learning journey. Just like Emma learned, real value isn't measured by what you have. It's measured by who you are. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Thank you for practicing your English. Thank you for opening your heart to Emma's story. I hope you carry her lesson with you. You don't need a mansion to be rich. You don't need millions to have value. You just need kindness, gratitude, and purpose. Those things make you truly wealthy, and they can never be taken away. Until next time, my friends, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being grateful. Goodbye and good luck with your English journey. Remember, real wealth is who you are, not what you have. See you in the next story.